For over 1,000 years, the Vatican has guarded more than faith. Hidden deep inside its archives lies a map some believe should never be seen. Chapter 1. The Vatican's Secret Archive. The Vatican Apostolic Archive is one of the most restricted places on Earth. Protected by stone walls, armed guards, and centuries of tradition, it holds over 50 miles of shelves, filled with documents, letters, and artifacts collected since the early Middle Ages. For a long time, the archive was known as Archivum Secretum Vaticanum. That word, secretum, didn't originally mean forbidden. It meant private. But over the centuries, private slowly became synonymous with hidden. Only a small number of scholars are allowed inside each year. They must apply months in advance, state exactly what they want to research, and are only allowed to see carefully selected materials. No wandering, no browsing, no surprises. Inside these archives are documents that reshaped history, letters from Michelangelo, the trial records of Galileo, correspondence between popes and kings during wars that decided the fate of empires. But maps hold a special place. Maps are dangerous things. They don't just show land. They show what someone knew, and when they knew it. A map that appears too accurate for its time doesn't just raise eyebrows, it threatens entire timelines. And according to historians and researchers who've glimpsed fragments of Vatican cartographic collections, some maps do exactly that. They depict coastlines in impossible detail, continents before they were officially discovered, and worlds that don't match the story we're taught. Which leads us to the map many believe the Vatican still refuses to explain. Chapter 2. The Mysterious Map. The map doesn't have a single agreed-upon name. Some believe there are several versions. Others think it exists only as copies, references, or fragments preserved across centuries. What makes this map unsettling is not where it was found, but what it shows. According to multiple researchers, these maps depict parts of the world with a level of precision that shouldn't have been possible at the time they were created. Coastlines that align with modern satellite data, mountain ranges drawn with uncanny accuracy, and in some cases, landforms that appear to represent Antarctica without ice. That detail alone raises a terrifying question. If Antarctica is shown before ice coverage, who mapped it, and when? Mainstream history tells us Antarctica was discovered in the 19th century, yet these maps appear centuries older. Even more puzzling are depictions of the Americas before Columbus. River systems, interior land features, geographic knowledge no European explorer should have possessed. Some scholars suggest lost source maps, civilizations whose knowledge was inherited rather than rediscovered. Others point to ancient mariners, forgotten journeys, or pre-flood civilizations whose records survived catastrophe. And then there's the Vatican connection. The Church wasn't just a spiritual power. For centuries, it was the most advanced information network on the planet, collecting manuscripts, maps, and texts from fallen empires, destroyed libraries, and conquered cities. If anyone possessed ancient knowledge, it would be the Vatican. But possessing knowledge and explaining it are two very different things. Chapter 3. Why the Vatican stays silent. The Vatican has never officially denied the existence of unusual maps within its archives, but it has never explained them either. Why? One reason may be chronology. Christian theology relies on a specific timeline of creation, civilization, and human development. Maps suggesting advanced global knowledge thousands of years earlier complicate that narrative, without necessarily disproving faith, but certainly unsettling its structure. Another possibility is continuity. If these maps were copied from older sources, then history isn't a clean sequence of progress and discovery. It's a cycle of collapse and recovery. Knowledge lost, then quietly preserved. That idea isn't dangerous because it attacks religion. It's dangerous because it challenges authority. There's also the question of responsibility. Releasing such material without full context invites speculation, distortion, and conspiracy. Silence, from an institutional perspective, can seem safer than explanation. Or perhaps the truth is simpler. Maybe the Vatican doesn't fully understand these maps either. Acknowledging that would mean admitting that parts of human history remain unresolved, that our past is still a puzzle, and that some answers lie beyond the reach of any single institution, religious or scientific. Sometimes silence isn't deception, it's uncertainty. But silence has a cost, because unanswered questions don't disappear. They echo. The Vatican doesn't deny the map. It doesn't confirm it either. And sometimes, silence is the loudest answer of all.